Welcome to Whispers in the Dark, Volume 2. I'm Danny Hayden. These are stories of men with men, of lust that keeps you awake, and love that won't let you go. Bodies pressed close in the night, hearts opening where the world can't see. It's erotic, it's romantic. Desire and tenderness tangled together, whispered for those who crave connection in the dark. For mature listeners only. So breathe deep, close your eyes, and let the whispers begin. The city has a way of convincing you that if you just work harder, climb higher, shine brighter, you'll finally feel whole. For Nate Bishop, success came exactly the way he planned it. The penthouse, the career, the body built like armor. From the outside, his life looks perfect. But desire doesn't disappear just because you bury it. And some connections, no matter how many years pass, never really let you go. Tonight, under neon lights and heavy bass, a man Nate once loved will walk back into his world. And everything he thought he'd outrun will be waiting for him. This is Longing in the City. Chapter 1. The Weight of Success. The city stretched beneath him like a promise he had no longer believed in. Nate Bishop stood at the floor-to-ceiling window of his Upper West Side penthouse. 36 stories up, barefoot in a shirt he hadn't finished buttoning. Manhattan shimmered beyond the glass. Slick towers, blinking lights, headlights snaking across the bridge like veins that never stopped pulsing. He used to look out at this view and feel hunger. Now, he just felt tired. His coffee had gone cold in his hand. He sat it down without sipping and walked toward the bedroom, his reflection catching in the hallway mirror. For a second, he paused. There he was, shirt open at the chest, abs still sharp beneath smooth, honeyed skin. The kind of body he'd worked for in silence. The kind that looked perfect in a fitted suit and drew glances in the elevator. But now, all he saw was a man playing a part. Clean lines, controlled muscles, no joy, just the armor. He reached for his watch on the dresser, but instead, his fingers brushed against a drawer. He opened it. Inside was a photo. A snapshot from a summer 5 years ago. Him shirtless, laughing, a beer in hand. And behind him, half cut off by the frame, Aiden Clarke, smiling, sweaty, holding Nate's waist like it was the most natural thing in the world. Nate stared at the edge of that smile. The memory, it was louder than the city. They hadn't spoken since that night. That stupid fight in the rain, the slammed door, the cab that never turned back around. No texts, no answers. And Nate, being Nate, had buried it beneath cases, suits, champagne flutes, and gym schedules. And still, here it was. The photo burned like a secret he couldn't delete. He shut the drawer, flipped on his watch, fastened the last button with a practiced flick of the wrist, and called his driver. Chapter 2: The Pulse of the City. The ride down to Club Meridian was a blur of neon and heat. Outside the tinted glass, Manhattan glowed like it had something to prove. Billboards flashing promises no one believed. People moving fast like if they slowed down, they'd feel something. The city pulsed with sound, horns, sirens, music spilling from restaurants and open car windows. 1,000 lives overlapping, none of them touching. Nate didn't look out the window. He just sat back in the leather seat, undoing the top button of his shirt, letting the cool kiss of air conditioning hit his collarbone. His phone buzzed again. A calendar alert. Monday meeting. Boardroom bullshit. He silenced it without looking. He already knew the week would be the same. Strategy calls, wine-soaked dinners with men who wore ambition like aftershave, and nights in a king-size bed that still felt too cold. His driver pulled up outside the club. A long line curled down the block, all flash and sweat and anticipation. Nate didn't bother with the door. The bouncer saw him, nodded once, and stepped inside. Inside, the bass hit like a heartbeat. Dark, sweaty, slick with want. The lights were low and pulsing, red and purple and gold slicing through the haze like temptation made visible. Bodies swayed on the dance floor, hands on hips, mouths close to ears, eyes glazed with alcohol or desire, or both. It wasn't a club, it was a confessional booth for the lost. Nate adjusted the cuff of his shirt as he moved through the crowd, the fabric pulling tight across his forearm. Men turned to look. He didn't return the glances. He wasn't here to flirt. Not tonight. He just wanted to feel something. And then he saw him again. Aiden Clarke. This time, it wasn't from across the room. It was up close. Too close. He was leaning against the bar, drink in hand, lips parted around a laugh that Nate hadn't heard in half a decade, but still remembered like a bruise. His fitted black shirt clung to his chest, sleeves rolled, forearms flexed with each movement. His hair was longer now, pushed back, but still falling into his eyes. And those eyes, bright, blue, scanning the crowd until they landed on Nate. A moment, a stillness inside the noise. Aiden's mouth parted slightly, like he'd been caught mid-breath. And for a second, just a second, everything stopped. The music, the lights, even Nate's pulse. He felt it in his chest first, then in his gut, then lower. Because looking at Aiden wasn't just remembering, it was reliving. And before Nate could move, before he could turn around, disappear, pretend he hadn't come, Aiden pushed off the bar and started walking towards him. He moved through the crowd like he had done it before, like the club belonged to him, like his body was a weapon he knew how to wield. The men in his path stepped aside, not because he asked them to, but because something about him, his frame, his stare, the weight of his presence, demanded it. Nate didn't move. He couldn't. Aiden stepped 2 feet away. Nate. His voice was the same, deep, moothed, something southern, but sharpened by time. Nate swallowed. Aiden. Aiden's smile curved slowly, like it wasn't sure if it belonged. You look good. So do you. 5 years. That's how long it had been. But standing here now, the distance collapsed. They stood for a moment, caught in the heavy hum of the music. The flickering light casting shadows over Aiden's jaw. Wet glistened at his collarbone. His chest rose and fell just a little too fast. You want to get out of this crowd? Aiden asked. Talk somewhere quieter? Nate nodded once. His voice didn't trust him yet. Aiden turned, nodding toward the back of the club. Nate followed. They found a booth near the rear lounge. Low lighting, half privacy. The hum of the music, more felt than heard. Aiden ordered them drinks without asking. Neat whiskey for both, he remembered. Nate slid into the booth, leaning back. Aiden sat close. Not too close, but closer than necessary. "No," Aiden said, lifting the glass once it arrived. "What's new in the world of high-rise heartbreak?" Nate smirked, but there was no heat in it. "Still climbing? Still lonely?" Aiden's eyes lingered on him. "You always made it look easy. The ambition, the walls. Not so easy lately." Aiden's gaze dropped to Nate's mouth, then back up. "Yeah, you look tired." Nate exhaled. "You always did know how to cut through the bullshit." "That was the problem, wasn't it?" Aiden asked, voice softer now. "I saw too much, got too close." Nate didn't answer. He took a long sip of his drink instead, the burn settling low in his belly. Aiden leaned in slightly, his forearm brushing Nate's. "It wasn't an accident." "You ever think about it?" Aiden asked. "About us?" Nate hesitated. No. Liar. Nate glanced at him. Aiden was already watching, unflinching. The space between them pulsed, alive, tense. You broke me, Nate said quietly, and I buried it. Buried you. Then why are you shaking? Nate looked down. His fingers were trembling slightly on the rim of his glass. Aiden reached over and touched them. Just once. Just a light press of his fingertips over knuckles. But it felt like contact after a drought. I don't know what this is, Nate said, eyes still on their hands. Aiden's voice dropped. It's something. And Nate, God help him, didn't pull away. Chapter 3. Old Flames, New Heat. They sat there for a while, not talking, not needing to. The club thrummed around them, bass and light, bodies colliding in the dark. But inside their small corner booth, time bent. Load. Something old stretched between them, still alive, still raw. Nate sipped his drink again. The glass was sweating in his hand, and so was he. Aiden leaned back into the leather, his arms draped casually over the back of the booth, fingers just brushing Nate's shoulder. You always had this thing, Aiden murmured, eyes not leaving him, where you look calm, but inside, you're spinning. Nate's jaw twitched. You always thought you knew everything. Aiden smiled. No, just you. Their knees bumped under the table. Neither moved. You're still doing law? Aiden asked. Nate nodded. Youngest partner in the firm. 14 hours a day. $1 million clients. Custom suits. He raised his glass. The dream. Aiden tilted his head. You sound thrilled. Nate swallowed. I sound tired. That's because you are. Nate turned toward him. You don't know me anymore. I know you enough, Aiden said, like how your leg always bounces when you're anxious, or how you stop blinking when you're turned on. Nate froze. He hadn't even realized it. His knee was bouncing lightly under the table, his stare fixed on Aiden's mouth. That mouth. Those lips. God, how many nights had he dreamed of that mouth again? You're doing it right now, Aiden said, voice lower. Nate looked away. Aiden leaned closer, his scent catching in Nate's throat. Wood, heat, and sweat. I never stopped thinking about you, he said. Nate closed his eyes. Just for a second. You left. You told me to. You didn't fight me. Aiden leaned in closer, mouth just at Nate's ear. You didn't ask me to stay. The breath between them went hot. Nate turned his head. Their faces were inches apart now. His breath stuttered. Aiden's eyes dipped to his lips. "Why are you here?" Nate whispered. Aiden's gaze lifted, steady and sharp. "Maybe I never really left." Their hands brushed again. Aiden's thumb found Nate's wrist. Warm skin over thundering pulse. And suddenly, Nate went back to his apartment. That night, rain hammering the window, Aiden's voice breaking, his own silence. And now, here they were, older, harder, still holding the edges of something that had never fully burnt out. Aiden pulled back slightly, just enough to keep Nate aching for more. "I'm not asking for anything," he said softly. "Not yet." Nate's voice cracked. "Then what are we doing?" Aiden looked at him, really looked, through the mask, through the suit, through the years. "I'm remembering," he said, "how you used to taste, how you sounded when I touched you, how you looked the first time I made you come." Nate's breath caught. His drink was forgotten. Aiden leaned in again, lips grazing the shell of his ear this time. A whisper meant only for him. "You moaned my name like it meant something." Nate reached for him without thinking, fingers curling around Aiden's thigh under the table. It was solid, hot, barely restrained. Aiden didn't flinch. He just moved his leg a little, wider, letting Nate feel the thickness of him pressed tight in those jeans. "You want to come home with me?" Nate asked, voice low and rough. Aiden turned to his face. No teasing now, no grin, just truth. "I've wanted that for 5 years." We'll pause here tonight. Some connections don't end. They wait, buried beneath pride, distance, and the lives we built to protect ourselves. For Nate and Aiden, 5 years disappeared in a single glance, in a touch, in a memory of what they once were to each other. And now, standing at the edge of something neither of them truly walked away from. The question isn't whether the desire is still there. It's whether they're brave enough to face what comes next. You've been listening to Longing in the City, written and narrated by Danny Hayden. If this story stayed with you, follow the podcast and share it with someone who might need it tonight. You can find more stories from Whispers in the Dark on Spotify. And if you want to experience these stories in print, the book is now available on Amazon. Until next time, remember, longing doesn't disappear, it waits. The end.
"30 floors above the skyline, neon rivers in the night, glass and steel and empty silence, none of it feels right. I built towers out of ambition, every victory hollow and cold, a life of gold and perfect armor, but no one left to hold. Then across a crowded room, your eyes cut through the noise. 5 long years of running from you, but I still hear your voice. I'm longing in the city tonight, where the lights burn brighter than truth. Every street sings echoes of us, every shadow whispers you. I was king of a world made of stone, where the nights never felt like home. But your touch breaks through the dark and reminds me I'm not alone. Music shaking through the floor now, bodies moving in the haze. But the moment that I see you, all the years collapse in place. Your smile hits like summer lightning, every memory burning bright, and the past we tried to bury comes alive tonight. I'm longing in the city tonight, where the skyline trembles with fire. Every heartbeat calls your name, every breath takes me higher. I was lost in glitter and gold, in a life that never felt right. But one look from your eyes turns the darkness into light. We were lightning in the pouring rain, 2 wild hearts we couldn't contain, and the storm never faded away. I tried burying you in the noise, in the deals and the pride and the lies, but your love never died. Now the city is roaring tonight, and the stars fall over our skin. All the years disappear in your arms.